Intentions, where the balanced fun hoes go for spiritual enlightenment while still being a little risque.
Okay.
Yay, we have friends today!
Welcome back, guys. This is the Risky Intentions podcast. It's your girl, Jordy.
And I'm Cece.
And we've got a special guest with us. We've got friends.
We have friends in real life. And he's an exceptional friend, longtime friend, but just extraordinary producer, abolitionist, musician extraordinaire.
Thanks,
let us know who you are. Tell the people who you are.
I feel like it's one of those things of like introductions of like, how does it work? And it's like one of those things like, I can't say this about myself or X, Y, and Z, but I feel like and sometimes you have to give yourself your roses and like talk your shit. So
tell us who you are.
Oh, so that's what I'm expected to do now? Because I was going to downplay my shit.
No.
My plan was to come in and downplay my shit.
Talk your shit, okay?
Please don't. No low vibrations over here.
Thank you. I appreciate that reframe. I'm Richie Reseda. I've been friends with Cece since I was 10 years old.
We go way back to the
know.
sandbox.
I was pulling up and I was just like, this is crazy.
Yeah, we're grown people, I guess.
No, literally, we've been friends for 20 years. We can cut that part out.
I thought of that yesterday. I was thinking, like, I only know a few people for that long, and it's wild to see just how much we're still the same 10-year-olds, but just the growth and the magic that's happened in 20 years.
Yo, that shit is wild. But it's really nice to be here, to be in the Valley doing it. I'm so happy you record your show in the Valley.
Welcome home.
Yeah, I love coming out here. It'd be hot as fuck and it takes a long time, but...
It does take a long time, and it is hot as fuck. It's summertime right now, in case you guys
It's
didn't
spring.
know.
Whoa, slow down.
We
feels
only
like
have
summer.
summer and raining sometimes summer.
Sometimes. That's it.
But yeah, I'm an abolitionist and a producer. I try to make shit that makes people think about gender and power and healing and harm. And right now I'm working on a podcast and a film.
Shout out to
And that's
Abolition
it.
X podcast.
Yeah.
It's on Spotify. Make sure you guys
It's
tune
fire,
in.
so if you haven't listened, go listen.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been really fun. It's been really fun doing the podcast, learning a lot.
Yeah? I feel like we're about to learn a lot with you right now.
I
I'm
think
excited.
too, like abolition and abolitionists, it's such a term now that's like very hot, right? Especially like I feel like TikTokers, and not even necessarily TikTokers, but there's been abolitionists long forever. But I think that there's a rise of awareness of people like calling out like, wait, the norms, the systems that are in place aren't working, so we have to restructure. So I love that everything that's going on with that and just your contribution to it, you know?
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's really all it is. People ask like what abolition is all the time, and it's really just rethinking the ways that we relate to healing and harm and justice.
We need a lot of rethinking right now.
Yeah, exactly. We literally all of our systems were brought to us by colonizers and capitalists and people who don't have our best interests in mind, so it makes sense that it wouldn't work. It's very interesting that people be shocked when they find out things about the system. They're like, oh, this is actually terrible. And it's like, of course it's terrible.
Yeah,
like
it's written like 100 years ago.
Right. Literally.
It's like, why haven't we changed so many things? Like, I'm sure those dead people are like, damn, we thought they would have at least updated it.
You know? Seriously.
2.0, just everybody needs a new download.
Yeah.
And the ways that things work, the norms, challenging that, I think is the only way to really create change, is to just, you have to shed a light in it. Like, we got to get in here.
And that's all I try to do, is just make shit that does that in a way that is like cool and accessible and fun and dope and not like
digestible.
You know?
Because I feel like people are simple, right? Like
we're simple creatures.
Let's talk about it. But I think more so than that, it's like, because people are simple, because things are like, it's such a thing. Like, you think of like generations, right? Of like your grandparents, the way they did things, and their grandparents and your parents, and it's like, whoa, we don't have to do X, Y, and Z anymore. We don't have to be married by 25 with a kid and like a house. It's just, it's not the world that we live in. So the same goes with life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We live in a
Everything
completely
is
different
subject
time.
to evolve. I'm excited to talk about these things with you.
Same.
Let's get into our affirmations.
You gonna kick us off?
Sure. My affirmation this week is I am complete. Everything I need is already within me. Okay? One of my favorite Erykah Badu songs, she said, I was born underwater with $3 and 6 dimes. So she came into this world with 360, a full circle, everything she'll ever need. And I try to keep that in mind because when you start thinking like in a lacking mindset,
Yeah.
you know, it's harder to attract more, you feel hopeless, and the more I understand, like, everything I need is already within me, I can just kind of take on anything, like, anything is possible.
You've told me this 360 line before.
Because people don't be listening.
Ever since you said it, I was like, damn.
Yo, I didn't even
Erykah,
realize that.
mama.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, when she said it last time, I was like, today years old. Because I had no idea, but it's so true. And it's like, the way that she breaks it down, just, mother, let's speak on it. But I think it's a thing like, we're constantly in pursuit, again, with like the norms, the way that the world is. We live in a capitalistic like world, so naturally it's like you need this car, you need this,
And I want,
and it's like,
and like what don't I have?
want.
Yeah.
That you're like between social media and life, it's just like what's really what you want and what's really what you need, and identifying like you really are so perfect, you know, just as you are.
Thank you.
Yeah. Don't mention it.
What's your affirmation, Jay?
So my affirmation this week is that I am in full alignment with my higher self. I am attracting blissful relationships and opportunities into my reality. And just like my steps are ordered, you know, I'm good. I'm solid out here. And everything is like for a reason. I think as you grow, as you're exposed to things, every conversation, you know, like, is for a reason. And I think in doing so, it's just trusting the process. Like, trust that you're in alignment. When you're walking in alignment, it's like everything is so clear, you know? So yeah, that's it.
Come on, be aligned and purposeful. Do you have
That
an
made me want to
affirmation
sit
for us
all the
today?
way up. Like, that made me want to fix my posture. Like,
I am aligned.
am I still in the thing? Did I cut my head off
you're
when I
good.
did that?
You're
Okay,
still in
cool.
here.
I gotta sit like this now. Niggas is aligned.
Ooh.
My affirmation for myself, that I have access to my most confident self, and I get to choose to be that person whenever I want.
Yes. I love how they all go together.
Somebody was telling me something, like I was confiding in a friend about something with work, and I was just like, this girl really has me fucked up. And that's not a thing of like being challenged, but just like, sometimes I think people will get you off your rockers, and it's like you just are not imbalanced, you're not in alignment, and it's just like, no. I am my higher self, and I can tap into that. I have the control of myself and how I think and how I move, regardless of the bullshit. Sometimes you gotta just Ray Charles to it, you know? I love that.
What's the tea?
Honey, the tea. So the tea this week is brought to you by the
By
Shade Room.
science, which actually gets me really excited.
Shade Room Science, same shit.
But new studies found that male birth control has been 99% effective in mice. So they aim to start these trials on humans this year, which could go, obviously, a million different ways. But it would also hold, men accountable in a different sense than ever's been accessible. And I remember they started talking about this, 2016-ish, maybe? And I remember my dad telling me, he was like, man, if male birth control was around back in the day, none of y'all would be here. His exact
Honestly,
words.
Some of your parents were a little toxic, and they could have used it.
You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world.
Right.
It's crazy, though, because I feel like the same goes with, vasectomies and, I don't know. It is that,
it's still such a taboo thing, and it's like, well, why is this, like, you know, all that stuff have to fall on the woman's side when it comes to that? Like, we don't make children alone.
No.
You know? So yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on that? And like, how down bad do you think somebody has to be to sign up for these trials?
Down bad. Not for a nigga, but $11.99. You could try this.
We'll pay $100 and
listen.
You might not be able to have children ever again. It might make you sterile, but you know, for science.
Not the worst thing in the world again. You know, I feel like trials are just kind of scary.
Yeah, as a whole.
Because the medical industrial complex.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you could get paid to take a pill that allow you to have sex raw and not have children.
It's a game changer.
Not the worst thing in the world.
Kind of a game
like, I know a couple people who should sign up.
You know what I'm saying? If y'all see me on them trials, just let me, just like, you know,
you're like, fuck them kids anyway.
Oh, you know that fucking TikTok people they like are walking all smoldering. It's like, if you see me be happy, just leave me alone. If you see me in them trials,
in the commercial
for this, just leave me alone.
Not the commercial. I thought, like, my mind immediately went to ECDC. I don't know who. Like, it's gotta be real low budget and like rinky-dink.
Oh no, if I'm gonna be the face of my cell shit, it's gonna be high budget.
Okay.
It's gonna be like,
all right.
Cece gonna be on the makeup. We're gonna make
him look down bad with like kids and then
yeah,
looking happy and glowing, blissful, single.
It should just be me like looking hella fly walking down the street.
Ooh.
And just like feeling myself like nodding, low key flirting with my eyes, and then looking like walking past like a dude with like all these kids and like his life is a mess and he's disheveled and just being like just nodding my head, and then it just goes blurry and you just see the medication and all the things like may cause death, may cause
Perfect. So we know who to look out for this year.
I didn't even think about that as the side effects. Like, you know that it's something.
Most drugs and all the side effects make me be like, you know what?
Imagine men
I'll tough this out
with additional hormones and testosterone in their body.
But it's not hormone based.
Oh, okay.
That's what's exciting. If it was hormone based,
even scarier.
I would probably be a little more scared because exactly the last thing men are so emotional and irrational. The last thing we need is more hormones.
Can you say that again?
Because you know what I'm saying, like men's hormones lead us to kill people. You know, like it gets very like rage and anger and just like it reminds me of have y'all been seeing these screenshots of Judge Jackson versus Judge Kavanaugh and like the way that she's been responding to being grilled versus how he was responding to being grilled?
No.
It was just giving.
He's
like,
been like raging, and she's just sitting there like.
Yeah.
And like every time she tries to talk, he's just like, ah! And she's just like,
yeah, like
look at yourself.
Yeah.
I love that black woman. Get him all the way together.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
So we'll see where that goes. I definitely want to follow how that all plays out.
Listen,
it'll be interesting.
I'll come back to the show.
Okay, great. We'll hold you to it when those trials start. We have a new segment called How Risky? Ask Risky?
How risky?
How risky?
How risky?
Where you guys can write us, ask us questions, and we will answer them with our open, honest opinions. Mm-hmm. This one, I don't think I even have a name for her. Great. Hey, Risky Intentions. I'm about to graduate from college, and my parents are so excited for me to start my career in the medical field. But since starting college, I've started DJing, and it's been going so well. I've played at some of my favorite nightclubs in LA and even started working with a label releasing some of my mixes. My question is, do I explore my options with my new degree or keep DJing and doing what's making me happy and actually paying my bills?
Baby girl, sometimes you gotta get the coin. I think it goes back, though, to, like, naturally, I think parents, when they're instilling, like, that whole, like, plan B, you know, again, like, what was their norm? What did they see? What did their parents see? Like, we're in an age now where, like, entrepreneurship is on the rise. People are literally making a living from their home off TikTok. You know what I mean? Like, making bank. So I feel like it's one of those things where I think the first step would be, like, letting go of your parents' approval. Like, to even start with, like, oh, my parents. It's obviously, like,
it's
something
clearly
at
very
the forefront
important
of your psyche. So I think You have to listen to your intuition. I think that's what it comes down to. Is just like trust your gut, believe in yourself, and if you don't want to go to law school or medical school, then
I think that's fair. What you think?
I think it's one of those things that's also like my parents pushed medical school on me, and I feel like there's times when I'm like, damn, I really wish I would have took my ass to medical school. But you live, you learn. I like what I do. Like I enjoy where I'm at. I know that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. But there are times when I'm like, yeah, that check would have been real nice.
I do feel that. I mean, I went to school for like a hot second out of high school, but I do feel like it was just seeking approval. I had no desire to be there. I said in 11th grade, like, I'm going to do makeup. Let's just stop completely talking about college. Then I got scared because of other people's projections. So I was like, let me just go ahead and go to school like everybody else does. And I was doing awful, like really bad, not even there. And it took 5 years for me to even start doing what I do.
Wow.
Yeah, for me to come back around to the same thing I wanted to do in 11th grade. I was like, oh, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And it was hard. I think any entrepreneurship in any sense is just hard in the beginning.
Yeah.
But the fact that you already got your foot in the door before you're even out of school, like that speaks volumes. And I think having the degree is great. And I mean, it's already there. You already have it. You can always like go back and visit that later. If you have the capacity to juggle both, like do like a part-time situation somewhere and then still DJ at night, like I know not everyone has the capacity for that type of life, but the options are endless. I think you got to do what makes you happy at the end of the day, because you will be miserable if you don't do that, and then like you'll always think about the what ifs, like what would have happened. Oh, I could have spin my DJ set like overseas somewhere. Just like so many options that it's like if that's already what's coming to you, kind of like go with flow, like what we were already talking about, like being in alignment, like you're already right there, so just flow with it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if this person is in their 20s, like if you're in your early 20s and you could stay up all night after just doing some medical shit all day, like do it. Do both. But like, what is life about, you know? Like when you're...
What is life?
None of this shit is real.
You know, but I'm just saying, like, obviously, like, just do what makes you happy. Like, I think if you put yourself in the position you focus on something, you will figure it out.
Yeah.
Especially if you have the type of focus to be in the medical field, like, you will... If you want to DJ, then DJ. Like, you will figure it out, and do that shit while you're young. And, you know, it breaks my heart to hear that it took 5 years for you to come back to doing makeup, all because of the pressures of society, because you could have started when you were 16, and
You've been killing
who knows?
You know what I'm saying? And you killing it now, but it's just like, it's just not fair how we do that to young people, how we trick them out of their own thoughts when they know their lives so well. But we see what happens when you invest in young people. That, like, one of my favorite artists right now, her name is Audrey Nuna, and she's hella young. I think she's like 19.
Yeah.
And when she was 17, she was making music. She's from like New Jersey or something. And anyway, this producer, Anwar Sawyer, they like linked up. He like went, met her parents, and started making music with her, and just invested in this young person's dream. Now she's like one of the sickest fucking new musicians out, in my opinion. And it's like, but easily she could have been convinced to like go do some other shit, and we all be missing out. You know what I'm saying? Like when we just invest in young people's dreams, or when we're young people, I think it's important we invest in our own dreams. And it might seem quote unquote unrealistic. All this shit is unrealistic. Like, fuck being realistic. You're not gonna be on your deathbed being like, damn, I should have done something more realistic. You're gonna be like, I wish I did something that made me happy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
No, that's real.
It's so true though. It's so true, because I feel like when we often tell young people, like, you know, like, you don't know. We just kind of like write it off. I feel like I've done it to myself, to my younger siblings or whatever, and it's like, it's
fact
like,
that you say that makes me feel so bad. There was something I remember like saying to my sister when we were like kids, and I was like, damn, I hope I didn't like crush her dreams in that moment.
But
like, was that the moment?
The things that you, and it's exactly that. Those moments, that's just like everything. I think words hold value in the same way with this chick that's like your parents. It's like it took me a long time to not yearn for the approval of like my parents, my mother, my grandmother. And it's like, fuck all that. I gotta live my life, baby.
Like, y'all lived your lives already,
your life.
So let me handle this over here. Yeah. Go live your life, sis. Just go live your life.
Yeah.
blissfully,
Be free.
they'll get over it.
Yeah,
essentially.
I promise.
We're gonna get into a cocktail this week because we got some male energy in the building. Y'all been wanting it. Okay.
Right.
We have a man with some sense here today.
I'd like to think so. I do my absolute best.
You know what's so funny is that people have really kind of been coming for us. Like,
I don't think coming for us. I just think we attracted
met-
a male audience that we were not expecting,
yeah.
like at all. Like we went in this thinking about the ladies and an amount of men that were like, "Oh
What
yeah,
about
I
the
watched
men?
this,"
What
and
about
like,
the
"But what
men?"
about our thoughts?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh well, we
And
didn't even think about y'all
We're
to be
totally
honest."
not even thinking about you. But I think it's like, do you even know what you're thinking?
Male-driven podcasts are rough.
Yeah.
They're rough.
They've been getting a lot of heat lately.
Yo, the TikToks are so good.
Of the girls pretending.
Yes.
They're my favorite.
So
What these
funny.
queens need to understand is that they have a position given to them by God. More of that.
Yes, they're my favorites.
Please.
I'm like, we're gonna need to find one to put with this right now.
Right. I know. It's insane.
But, you know, our cocktails are usually something sexual, either going on in our lives, something we heard, something we want to talk about. And I think one of our early episodes, we talked about a lot of, like, our do's and don'ts and, like, weird shit that guys be doing. So we want to know.
Oh, I got to go back and listen to that.
We got to know if there's any, like, do's and don'ts that you can think of or any, like, really weird
Pineapple you out of here.
sexual encounters.
Pineapple me out of here.
Pineapple me out of here. What's
You're
that?
like,
You've
this-
never heard that?
No.
Like pineapple, like as a safe word.
Like,
Like,
safe
this is
word.
fucking weird.
Like
Pineapple, like
It's
stop.
like pineapple me out of here. Get me out
We're
of here.
done here.
It's done.
God.
No more. You gotta go. Put your clothes on. Get the fuck out. No? Any of those?
Woo.
Because we
the
both
way I
had
do-
several, so.
I'm sure I've had them, but I've just done a sufficient job of erasing them from my memory.
Good job.
And hopefully from the other person's memory as well. Yo, I never talk about shit like this publicly. I'm such a private person, so
You
that's why I've been
are,
preparing
so-
myself for this since you sent the email, Cece. I was like, oh my god. This whole time I've been watching the question get closer and closer, and I've been,
You're like, okay, what am I going to say?
you know.
You don't gotta get too crazy
Yeah.
unless you want to.
Totally. It's a safe space.
But like just basic thing. I know for us a big
Girl,
thing
this
was
is
like,
not a safe space. This shit is going on the internet, and the internet is not a safe space. Let's be
Fair.
clear. The
That's
internet
fair.
is the most unsafe space.
that's actually really valid.
But we gonna do what we do, and the internet can always do what they do. I stopped living for the internet a long time ago. So you're asking me what was the situation where I had to pineapple up out of the spot?
Yeah, just like a do or don't. That was
Or like something
yeah, no,
that you're like, this
like,
is just not gonna,
This can't work.
I gotta get me out of here.
You know what I learned doesn't work for me personally?
Yeah.
Having sex with my friends. Can't do it.
You know what's funny is that
Oh shit. You're like, I got a friend that we are no longer friends.
no, I don't think it's that. It's not that. It's totally not that we're not friends anymore because we're adults. You know, I think like sometimes shit happens. You know, but I think it's one of those things of like, you don't want it to change. Like I've had sex with a friend, or I've had sex with someone, and then we became friends after. Like I thought it was gonna be a romantic thing, and then it was just like, yeah, no, we're just homies. Like, and it was funny because I feel like when they tried to like get the like, oh, let's partake in this again, it was
like
just
to
like,
go
what
back.
the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Wait, no, like, we're friends. So yeah, I definitely think that it's a thing. But I've had, yeah, I guess if I have to think about it, I've had some friends do some shit to me, and I'm like, oh, okay. After it's like, whew, hey girl. Hey girl. What's up? You know that one time, like, it's just like a level of intimacy and like
I mean,
vulnerability that you've like seen in me. I think. I don't know.
I'm like, yeah, friends sounds like a scary place to go. Because, yeah, it's like, damn, we could totally ruin this friendship.
For me, it didn't ruin the friendship. This is a person I was very close friends with.
Yeah.
And we had sex, and then literally during the sex, she was like, it's giving friends. But we could both just sense it. It was just weird.
You're like,
it was
where
just
do I, how do I,
Friends.
No, literally, like, as she began, like, I'm saying too much. I'm saying too much.
No, but like, it's just seeing it's seeing you in that light. It's like, oh, this is what you do. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just like, I don't know if I need to see you in this light.
I couldn't even get there.
Yeah.
It's like when her energy really started shifting in that way, I was like,
it's sexy time.
right, like who's making this person moan? Because it's not me, because this is my friend. And I was like, oh, this is like, so it was just like kind of, it was just hard to like really get into it. And then
At least you were both on the same page, because that could have got real weird.
Oh, that would have been so sad if I was all into it and she was like, it's giving friends, and I was like, oh.
Ooh, I thought I was putting it down.
You know, I guess. All right, yeah, same, girl, yeah, it's giving friends. Nah, it was, and that's what I just learned, like, yeah, that's not for me.
And for all you guys who say, you want to be friends?
Right.
No, good and well, you don't want to be friends.
Right.
It's different if you do it from jump, though. It's different if you're like, yo, we are going to be friends. You know what I'm saying?
It's just like friends with benefits.
Because then you can build in that way. But it's like, if I really been your platonic friend.
Yeah.
And then no. Unless you always could get it, and we just so happen to fall into like a friendship rhythm. But it's like, if the tides ever go that way, we're going to go that way. That's different.
That's valid.
That's so valid.
Yes.
I agree.
Because I might have a friend or two that could possibly still get it.
You know what I'm saying?
You want to spin back that way.
That's different. But if we were genuinely friends, it's like, nah. Like, if you done cried to me about other people you done dated and shit, it's like, no, we're like really friends. But if we're like, we hang out, but you can get it.
Yo, that's so weird. I had a guy friend, and we were friends for like 7 years. Like, homie, we have spent the night, head, feet, like, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Knows, like, my business, like, breakups, like, so much shit. And then, like, one time randomly was like, oh, you want to go to Vegas? And I'm like, okay, but yeah, I'm thinking, like, friends. And then, like, before we go, he's like, well, you know, I just want to know if maybe we could, like, date. And I was like,
oh.
What?
Pineapple.
Yes. No, seriously. Like, I got to get out of here. And then, like, because I was like, wait, what? Like, this is strange.
Yeah.
And then I felt like, damn, I've told you so much.
Right.
How could you even see me in that light, really?
Yeah.
It feels kind of manipulative and weird, kind of.
Like, have you been cool for so long and, like, had this whole other idea of us? But I thought we was friends. Friends, stay friends, unless they're friends with benefits.
Not 7 years.
That's a long time.
A long time to be plotting.
You know what I'm saying? It makes me question everything we've ever done together. Like
literally, I was going down. I was going to the memory, being like, "Damn, I hope he wasn't like looking at me while I was asleep or some shit." Like, there were just so many things that I was like,
"You're all asleep, you're spilling on your ass and shit."
Right.
Like, wait.
And I'm a hard sleeper. I'll be out. Oh God, I hope that didn't happen.
The things I think about. Like, my bad.
Oh, Richie, this is so fun. Wow, I love having friends here.
Woo, I knew if I can make it through that question, I can make it through the rest
You're
of it.
there.
Like,
Smooth sailing from here.
cool.
We won't get in your business anymore. We actually want you to let us know some things.
Yeah.
But
I might cry a little bit. But this episode, we really want to talk about toxic masculinity, fragile masculinity, and like what they mean, because I feel like they're kind of buzzwords right now, but I don't think people really understand to the core what they mean, like gaslighting and polyamory and just all these words that everyone's throwing around, but they're not really sure what it means. So if you don't mind, do you mind breaking down like what toxic masculinity means and what male fragility or, you know?
Yeah, I mean, toxic masculinity is just a toxic way of measuring masculinity. Like, so many of us have been taught that what makes us real men is our ability to be emotionless and our ability to dominate others and to be violent and to have money and to like really to like dominate people, like especially women and non-binary people, like dominate people on the basis of gender. So like those are just a toxic way to measure one's masculinity. I would say measuring your masculinity period is like a toxic thing to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, or vice versa, like measuring femininity. Or people that's like, oh yeah, he's more feminine, so it must be this. Or it's like I think that people just want to put like a number or like an equation or like a scale or a spectrum of like, where can we move you, right?
Like, this is
where
man.
Can I place you? Yeah, this is male, this is woman, and don't get here. Like, you know what I mean? And it's...
I do think there is like a spectrum of gender. I just think it becomes toxic when we start deciding how valuable a person is.
Yes.
Based on that, you know?
Absolutely.
And trying to decide for people's lives like how they should be and how they should move in the world based on that.
I mean, I think we've all probably been guilty in one sense or another. I know I definitely will do this in dating men. Like, if you can't work on cars and shit, I'm just like, oh, what a waste of man. But
Really?
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I literally had a whole conversation recently with a guy that I was dating and his mother. We were like in the car and we're talking about something, and I was just like, yeah, you know, like I feel like, I guess maybe just seeing my dad, like whenever he, you know, whether it's we get a flat tire or I have to change your oil, it's like, yeah, let me do it. And Jordan, sit here and like, you're going to watch me do this. So that way you know how to do it. I expect, like, not that men that aren't handy, I'm like, oh God, you're fucking, like, you're not a man. But I think it's more so just like, it's like an expectation almost.
yeah, it's a little bit of judgment there. Like,
It's
oh,
even
what?
like,
You can't, okay.
Go ahead and
You
judge
can't,
me.
like-
I can't do shit.
Like,
with a
where
car.
is a
Well,
task
listen,
rabbit?
well,
the mechanic?
the guy's
I can order you a task
mom,
rabbit.
the guy's mom was just like, if we can get it done, if there's someone, like if there's a service that can provide that, what difference does it make if he does it or not? And I'm just like, fair.
Like, I guess.
But yeah, but in the moment I was just
Like,
like,
I want you to get dirty.
let me see the sweat dripping from your head and your hands, like your arms rolled up and like your hands are
Let
all
me find out
dirty.
you just have a mechanic
Ew.
fantasy.
Not ill to you. Live your whole ass mechanic fantasy. No judgment to you. Me personally, I don't want to be sweaty. I don't want to have black shit all on my hands and shit.
Yeah,
That's out.
like, that's not...
For me, personally.
Right. But I think that's the thing, like where those norms come in. I think that like there is a bit of, with breaking things down, it's like so much of our foundation is like ingrained into us at such a young age. You know what I mean?
For
It's
sure.
like the whole thing with the little boy with the cook set that like went viral of like, oh, his parents got him like a chef set,
Yes.
a kitchenette, and they're like, oh, I would never. And it's like,
Like,
why?
they're going to make him gay. Like, what? I'm like,
So that's
most
so
chefs
interesting, though.
are men, actually. Like, that's just fact. Most, like,
Which is
chefs
also-
are men. Like,
Yeah.
like really, like, high-end restaurant, like, you know?
Which is also giving patriarchy low-key.
Of course. Then that's
Right.
definitely why.
Right.
But that's so interesting how people, you know, like we talk about these things and people say they're overly complicated, and a lot of people do speak about them in overly complicated ways. But it's so interesting that folks saw a little boy playing with a fake kitchen and then attributed that to, you're going to make him gay. Because there is this idea that the more traditionally masculine you are, the more heterosexual you are, and therefore
Yeah.
the more valuable you are as a man. And like that femininity, whether it be femininity possessed by men or women or non-binary people, is like less than and worse, and that you're somehow doing your kid a disservice by giving him something that is considered feminine. It's so wild how people make all those we make all those decisions in our mind without even realizing it. You just see a baby with a cook set and you're like, gay.
Right.
But it's like
This is a baby.
Right.
Like, baby doesn't even know quite what this is right here, this kitchen set. He sees us in the kitchen cooking. Like, they just want to do what they see.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really wild how many assumptions can just add up from one little...
and how much
tiny
that
thing.
we contribute to the problem. You know what I mean? Not even like exactly. It's like unconsciously, like we're just doing it. It's like we don't even think it, and we're just going through the motions. But it's like, look at the lasting impression that you're putting on someone. It's
And I just wish people were down to challenge it a little more, because we are all taught that when we were kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you get these strong ass feelings seeing this baby play with this cook set, why not ask yourself why that
why
is?
is that?
Why does that bother
Why does
you?
that bother you so
Why
much?
does that bother you? Like,
Yeah.
as opposed to putting it on the kid or the parents, like, why
Yeah.
don't you check in with yourself? Like,
Yeah.
damn, this actually is not harming anybody. Why does this bother me so much? And if the baby was playing with a gun, which actually is like pretending to harm, probably wouldn't bother you as much.
No one would have blinked. And
No.
why?
That's what's fucking sick and weird about America. Is like, you can be violent.
Like, why do we
as
pick
fuck.
and choose?
Yeah, but like, violence is like cool.
Yeah.
But if you're challenging gender norms, then you're like, people will literally
Yeah,
say it's like
yeah.
immoral.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I can't even, like, associate with you anymore.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
Yeah.
What kind of morality do we have if challenging gender is more offensive to us than killing and death. Like
what? How does somebody else's body matter to you, but killing someone doesn't matter to you? Like, that doesn't even make sense. It's like, if you care about a life, then you would want this living life to be thriving and happy, whatever that looks like for them.
Right.
So it's really, really, it don't make no sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
It never makes sense.
You were teaching people in prisons about, like, rape culture and, like, kind of breaking these ideas, right?
I wouldn't say I was teaching. I would say that I helped when I was in prison. I was in prison from when I was 19 until I was 26. And during that time, I helped start this program called Success Stories, where we were really doing work on ourselves to get to our highest self, our most successful version of ourselves.
Yeah.
And we had to break down our own patriarchy to do that. So I wasn't necessarily teaching as much as I was trying to break down my shit and invite other young incarcerated men to do the same.
Do you feel like a lot of, like, societal ideas and, like, patriarchy is kind of, like, what got you there? And that's why you had to, like, really look inside, like, how the fuck did I get here?
No, of course. Yo, it's funny because you really, really know me. So
I do.
I mean,
I was like,
whole,
what is, he has no business there. Even my mom was like, Richie? No. This guy?
Jennifer?
No. Yeah. She's like, oh, no. Who was he hanging out with? Like...
But it was literally, I got to, you know, I was always like a weird art kid.
Yeah.
That's what I have always been into.
Yeah.
I don't really care for cars. I don't care for sports. I just wasn't into those things.
Yeah.
And when I got to middle school, which is where we met.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why I, like, loved you so much. He's just him. He's going to dance with us. He's going to come with the lime green.
We were on the dance team. That's where we met.
Yes, we're on dance team together.
I forgot about that.
Fucking it up, okay? Hey.
Niggas came out to, wait, what was our dance to? It was this was the opening
Get
shit.
your freak on.
It was Get Your Freak On. And that
I'm
was the
thinking
opening
about
move.
jump.
Yes! Wait, what's the move?
I don't know. Jump.
Yes!
Cece forever knows a routine. She
I have
can't,
dances
like,
in here for the rest of my days.
She literally will give you a whole 8
I'm
count.
going to be 90 breaking them out on the dance floor, okay?
Same memory.
Oh my gosh. Yo,
That's
all those
hilarious.
dances have such old names. Like, when they're gonna sound great when we're old. They're gonna be like,
Yeah.
you youngsters don't even know how to do the wobble. They're gonna be like, shut up, grandpa. Like,
I was jerking back in my day.
exactly. They just sound like when old people be like, can you do a jig? We're like, what?
I do a
like
what?
that's how we sound.
My
Like,
grandma used to do the holy gully.
and how is that different than chicken head? Like, it sounds just
It's
as
literally
absurd.
the same.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Very fair.
But yeah, that's the type of shit I was on. And there was a lot of pressures to be not that. And be, I think specifically because the way that patriarchy is racialized too.
Yeah.
It was like it was not just like be a real man, but be a real black man. And there was a specific way that black
So
men
different.
were painted in the early 2000s as like how to be a real man.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
feel
be
like
hard and
exactly.
all that, yeah.
It wasn't like now where it's like weird boys like Lil Uzi Vert are like cool.
Right.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
so cute and trendy right now.
Yeah, it wasn't cool to be weird.
You
it was
would have
like
really, really done well
I
there,
would've
too.
fucking tried.
In this day and age.
But you were still doing great. You still
Thank
did
you.
you, okay? You didn't let it hold you down.
I like to see myself as a trendsetter and like I made some room for the weird boys.
You
but
did. You definitely made
You
space
know.
for the weird boys.
Listen, whatever, you never know what is happening, like what you're leaving behind, and who like is looking up to you and thinking like, damn, I see myself in that,
I hope so. I mean, but long story short, I just really felt like I had to be like this thug type dude in order to be a worthwhile human being. And it can seem like a small thing, like why does it matter to be accepted? But it's just a thing that's in us as human beings. If you walk into a room and everybody looks at you and just waves you off, you will feel that shit probably for years.
Yeah.
Like you will not, even though nothing happened to you physically, like humans, we will remember that. There's something, so we seek to connect and be accepted, and our the like method through which a lot of young men get to do that is by taking on toxic masculinity. I also want to say that I was criminalized by the time I was very young too.
Oh, for sure.
And like I was
we
kicked out of
see it all the time now on camera, on footage, but it's like I can't even begin to think the things that people of color, black men, were faced with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if a black kid
lens
can't
on it
sit still in
now.
class, like
Oh no!
Immediately he's bad. It's like,
yeah.
let's not look into that. It's like, actually, he might be a freaking genius,
Right.
and he's bored. But
Right.
immediately he's just bad and just written off, and like sometimes that trickles down for years, and then
Black girls too.
Yeah, you internalize that. Like, okay, well, I am bad. Now I am bad, and I'm gonna be bad. And I'm gonna continue to show you that I'm bad.
But it's like,
I mean, I feel like I had to break away from that. I remember being like 19, 20, and everyone was like, "See, you got to go on Bad Girls Club," and I'm like, "Do I?" Like,
No, you totally
and
had
like
that.
I mean, and at the time, hell yeah. I would have been kicked out the first week, but...
No, Cece used to be squabbing at school.
Exactly.
Cece used to be like... Cece's the first person I smoked weed with.
Don't be telling them all.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. Everybody knows. It ain't no secret.
I think it is a little, but I think because I've met
Damn,
you.
you're a person to smoke with me for the first time?
Yes, I smoked with you, Fungia, Zach, Trevor. That was my first time smoking in life, and Hassan.
Do you know how many people are like, see, you're the first person I ever smoked weed with? So many people, and I'm just glad I brought the weed to y'all live.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I was just bad. I was bad really early. Yeah.
We were 12.
Someone told...
Young as fuck. That's really young.
We were 12. It was a little early.
Where is
You
your
know,
mother?
But we...
I was in her weed.
No, exactly. She was waiting to pick you up, thinking everything was fine. We used to all smile in her face. It was not okay.
She like, somebody had been pinching in here. I know that little weed bag was a little short.
A little short a few times.
That's insane.
But I brought up the criminalization because I think it's an important point to make that I didn't realize this until very recently. Another part of what attracted me to like gangsterism is that they were those young men of color were being treated just like me, but they like responded with dignity. They're like, "Oh, you gonna make me the enemy? How about this? Fuck you, you're the enemy."
Hey y'all, thank you for listening to part 1 of this week's episode on toxic masculinity with Richie Reseda. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks for listening. Bye.